How is this even possible? How do you steal $30 million in cash in Los Angeles without leaving a single real trace, without firing a shot, and without a single suspect being arrested? This is not a movie. This is not Netflix. It's a real Easter weekend in 2024, inside an anonymous warehouse in the San Fernando Valley. On paper, this heist should not exist, and yet it happened. Welcome to Profession Robber. Today, we're tearing apart the Easter heist. Up to $30 million, stolen from a vault in Sylmar. What you're really watching. Before we go deeper, we need to set the rules. This video is not encouragement. It is not a masterclass in robbery. It is not glorification. On this channel, we don't teach you how to steal. We do the opposite. We analyze crime. We strip away the Hollywood shine. We look at what it says about psychology, about systems, about how justice really works. Everything you're about to hear is based on facts reported by serious media, official statements, known elements of the investigation, and when we reconstruct scenes, we tell you clearly, this is a hypothesis, not a courtroom reenactment. Now, let's go to Sylmar. The Invisible Fortress, Roxford Street, Sylmar, north of Los Angeles. You drive by, you see just another warehouse. Neutral facade, fence, cameras, nothing that screams. This is where tens of millions of dollars sleep at night. And yet, that's exactly what it is. Inside, Garda runs a facility where cash from businesses, casinos, and armored truck routes comes to be counted, sorted, and stored. No public lobby, no tellers, no customers, just a vault, pallets, and stacks of money. On this Easter weekend, it's estimated that up to $30 million in cash are stored here. This kind of place is designed to be boring, invisible, and yet it becomes the center of the biggest cash heist Los Angeles has seen in years. 11:30 p.m. The alarm no one hears anymore. It's Saturday, March 30th, 2024. Around 11:30 p.m., the burglar alarm at the Garda facility goes off. The signal goes to the police. On paper, this should be serious. Except, this isn't the first time. In the year before this night, this same facility triggered more than a dozen similar alarms, all logged as false alarms. Now ask yourself, if you're a dispatcher and you see Garda burglary alarm, again, what do you think? A rare, high-stakes heist? Or that annoying warehouse again? That's the problem. The building is screaming, "Wolf," and everyone has gotten used to it. The stage for a perfect heist often looks like this: a system that falls asleep before the crime even starts. 4:30 a.m. Fake silence. Easter Sunday. Very early in the morning, around 4:30 a.m., more alarms are triggered. Patrol cars show up. Officers walk around the building. They look at doors, loading bays, fences. Nothing looks wrong. Imagine the scene. 2 officers, coffee in hand, a quiet night, another industrial box. In another industrial street, they see a locked building, a calm facade, no broken glass, no smashed door. On the radio, it sounds like probably another false alarm. We'll check and clear. I'm self, and if the thieves are already inside at this point, they just learned something priceless. The system reacts, but it doesn't see. The roof, where no one looks. Now here's what we know with certainty. The thieves got in through the roof. A neighbor heard continuous mechanical noise for at least 2 hours that night. Another reported a prolonged Wi-Fi outage house in the area. That doesn't prove the exact method, but it sets the scene. The roof is the classic place. Humans stop thinking about once construction is done. We protect doors, windows, entry points, but as soon as something is high up and hard to reach, the brain labels it unlikely access point. Now imagine you're in bed inside a mobile home next door. It's 3 a.m. You hear a steady, mechanical sound for a long time. Not an explosion, not shouting, just a machine-like noise. You tell yourself, it's just the warehouse working. You don't know, you might be listening to a $30 million heist in real time. Inside, the labyrinth of cash. Inside, this is not cinematic chaos. It's order, pallets, perfect rows, stacks of banknotes wrapped in plastic, labeled for clients, all over Southern California. It's a cathedral of cash, cold, fluorescent, rational. For you and me, it's almost unreal. For the thieves, it's a blueprint. If they're inside at this point, it's not random. They've already studied the cameras, mapped the blind spots, understood which corridors are monitored, which zones are weaker, and how far they can move before motion sensors react. And that's where it gets unsettling. This stops looking like luck. It starts looking like work. A vault that opens without a fight. The most disturbing part is not how they got in. It's the vault. Reports say the thieves managed to open the vault and empty it without leaving obvious signs of violent entry. No blown door, no shredded hinges. From the outside, a normal vault. From the inside, a black hole. So what options are left? A method to bypass the systems, without leaving visible damage. Inside knowledge of codes and procedures, or a combination of both. None of those are comforting answers, because they all say the same thing. Someone understood this system, maybe better than the people who built it. 30 million, not just a number, a weight. We've been talking about $30 million, but for the people carrying it, that's not a number. It's weight, hundreds of kilos of cash. You don't just stuff that into one backpack and walk away smiling. You need containers, trips back and forth, organization, a vehicle that can handle the load, and a tight schedule. And yet, from the outside, no one reports panic, running, shouting, just that steady mechanical noise, then silence. It feels less like a chaotic robbery and more like a logistics operation. The money doesn't fly out like in a video game. It flows like a commodity. Monday morning, the human shock. Monday, April 1st. You're the employee, starting your week. You arrive with your coffee. You badge in. You walk through the warehouse. Everything looks like a normal Monday. Same walls, same corridors, same pallets, but your brain picks up something a split second before you do. An absence, a strange lightness. You get closer to the vault. The door is open. That alone is enough to send a spike of adrenaline through your body, because normally it's closed, sealed, surrounded by strict protocol. You look inside. The pallets are empty. Plastic wrap lies on the ground. Where there used to be enough money to buy buildings, there is nothing. At that moment, this stops being a story about alarms and sensors. It becomes a story about a nervous system collapsing, about a coffee cup slipping, about a scream echoing through a vault that now holds only air. She is the real alarm that starts the case. The hunt for ghosts. Very quickly, LAPD and the FBI take over the scene. Crime scene tape, forensic suits, evidence markers. They look at the roof, the hole, the walls, possible paths, inside by the locks, the electronic systems. Hour after hour, a picture forms. an entry point through the roof, movement inside without triggering a serious response, a vault opened without brutal damage, millions of dollars missing. Investigators also dig into the facility's history, the false alarms or the habits, the vulnerabilities, the security choices and bed. And another reality appears. This heist is not just the work of an organized crew, it's also the consequence of a system that had been sleepy for a long time. Profile. What kind of crew does this? We don't know who they are. No public faces, no official names, no announced arrests so far. But when you look at the type of operation, you can guess the type of crew. This is almost certainly not a lone burglar. We're looking at multiple people, technical skills, serious understanding of physical and electronic security, possibly some inside information too, and a very high tolerance for risk, psychologically, to spend hours inside this kind of facility at night, knowing that at any moment a patrol could enter or the system could wake up. You need cold nerves, stress control, and a fully accepted decision. If this goes wrong, my entire life flips. This isn't desperate impulse. This is a profession. Not just smart thieves, a tired system. It's tempting to say, these guys were geniuses. But look at the other side. Criminals don't exist outside the system. They feed on its weaknesses. Ignored alarms, watered down protocols, exhausted staff, cost-cut security, routines no one questions anymore. Here, you have a site that triggered so many alarms that nobody took them seriously. Massive amounts of cash concentrated in one place, a vault that could be emptied without dramatic visible damage, a discovery that came too late. So who really helped this heist? The thieves, or also the system that gave them such a perfect state? What this heist really says, we can sum up the Easter heist in a few key points. 1. A private cash depot in Silmar, holding tens of millions in cash for clients across the region. 2. A history of repeated alarms, normalized to the point of becoming background noise. 3. An entry through the roof, with mechanical noise, network issues, and invisible movement. 4. A vault opened, without obvious signs of destruction, but completely emptied. 5. No suspects publicly named, no arrests announced, a stolen amount estimated, up to $30 million. This isn't just the story of clever thieves. It's the story of what happens when human systems lean too hard on their routines and underestimate how far some people are willing to go to study those routines and turn them against them. Profession or countdown. Movies love loud heists, guns, car chases, explosions in slow motion. Here, we get the opposite. A building that went to sleep full and woke up empty. No gunshots, no blood, just absence. Right now, somewhere, people are trying to live a normal life. With this on their conscience, they didn't just steal money. They stole the trust of clients, the trust of employees, and a piece of trust in the system itself. But there's one thing crime history repeats over and over again. Perfect crimes are fragile. All it takes is one flashy purchase, one car that's too expensive, one lifestyle that doesn't match the paycheck, one bad conversation with the wrong person, and the castle of cards starts to shake. So let me ask you this. In your opinion, who carries more responsibility here? The thieves or the system that left them this opening? Tell me in the comments. If you're still here, you're part of the people who want the real face of crime, not the romantic version. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell me which heist, which crew, or which criminal mind you want on the table next. Here, we don't build legends, we take them apart, because behind every perfect heist, there is always more fear than glory. This was Profession Robber.